Hey guys, Mark here, standing in my kitchen, ready to do some hearty soup making. Yeah, that's right. It is that time of the year where it's cold and hearty soups and chilies just work, okay? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do split pea soup. A lot of people go, oh, gross, how can you eat that? It's awesome stuff. It really is. Yes, it looks a little disgusting because of the green color, but at the same time, it's very healthy and really good for the soul. It really is. Very easy to make. Let's get into it. Okay, first thing I need is a pound of green split peas. You can also use lentils, orange peas, pretty much anything. Any dried pea will work. I have a ham bone here, just saved from the last time that we had a ham. You could also use a turkey carcass if you'd like, or even just a couple inch block of like a salt pork. I also do have some ham meat that I'm going to dice up and put in the soup as well. I need a couple of cloves of garlic, so if you use the pre-minced stuff, it is, I think, a teaspoon of garlic. I got one large onion, couple ribs of celery, a few carrots. All this stuff will be diced up and put into the soup later. I need one bay leaf, a quarter teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and thyme. So I would like to tell you that this is a good low sodium meal, but because of that ham, Jen can't really have it. I mean, she can if we really cut the meat down. You know, if I used only a small portion of that ham, I suppose it could be considered still low sodium. But she's not eating with us tonight, so I'm going to use almost all that ham. I like the meat chunks in my soup, I really do. All right, so the first thing I need to do is I need to take the peas, and I'm just going to strain them, wash them off and stuff. There's a little bit maybe of dust during the production and manufacturing of the dry peas. So I'm going to just rinse these off real quick. I'm not going to soak them or anything like that. And then we'll get them in the pot and get them cooking. Let's go. Okay, look. So just put them in a little sieve here. Just give them a little bit of a wash. Just rinse off any dust. A lot of people also say to go through by hand, spread them out on a cookie sheet or something, look for little stones and whatnot. I really don't bother with that. Okay, so that's all I gotta do. I got my pot right here. And there we go. There's all my peas in the pot. All right, the next thing I need to do is to add 10 cups of water. Now, of course, I don't have a 10-cup measuring cup. The biggest one I have is 4 cups. So there's 4, there's 8, and the last 2 cups makes 10. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is just set it on high, just for now. I'm not going to leave it on high. The peas kind of stick together, so I'm just going to try to stir it up and break all those little clumps apart. And all I'm going to do is I just want to heat this up and bring it to a simmer. Oh, and of course at this stage 2, I will add the ham bone. It is actually amazing how much flavor that ham bone is going to add to the soup. It really is amazing. All right, we're going to lid that up and just let it come up to that simmer. Once I see it simmering, I'll turn the heat down. Okay, let's check this real quick. Okay, I can tell that down below, sorry if you can't see it through the steam. See all this white foamy stuff? That's called schmaltz. And basically all it is just a protein-laden foam. Doesn't add anything to our soup. So we're just going to try to skim it off. This is just stuff from the ham. You don't need to get it all off, but I'm going to try to get as much out as I can. Okay, I got most of the schmaltz out, so I'm just going to give this a little stir, just like that. and cover it up. All right, now this takes a while to cook, okay? This isn't something that's going to be done in like 30 minutes, okay? So I'm going to give this a good 2.5, maybe even 3 hours to cook. I'm going to start with 2.5. Okay, and then I've got my heat turned down to a medium low now. All right, so now that this is simmering and going, let's get into cutting up that vegetation. Let's go. All right, the first thing I want to do is I want to dice up my onion. Now I like my soup fairly hearty, so I'm going to leave the pieces kind of large. But again, if you don't want it that, you know, as big as I'm going to make them, you know, you can do what you like. Start out with a French cut, and then just go down and dice it up. Whoops. Alright, so that's half my onion. Again, same thing. We're going to do the French cut. Turn it, and then dice. Finish up the end. All right, so there's our onion. Okay, now for the celery, I've already washed them up. I'm gonna cut off a good portion of the white part and anything that's kind of dead and brown. Now if you have nice fresh celery and it's got the leaves on it and everything, you can go ahead and leave the leaves on it. Again, I like my soup here kind of chunky, so I'm just going to split it down once and then just slice it from there. Just like that. So same thing here, just slice it down the middle. There we go. Same as before. That looks like enough. All right, now I gotta peel my carrots. Okay, now I'm just gonna lop off the ends. Now there's an old saying in soup making, and that is crap in, crap out. So make sure that the vegetation that you're using and the meats that you're using are good quality, because you will taste the funky flavors once everything's in the pot and it's cooked and everything. You're gonna taste anything that's bad. So make sure you're using good fresh vegetation. Okay, for the carrots, what I'm gonna do, well, I think I might go there. The bigger part I'm going to halve, and then I'm going to slice that up. And then the smaller part, I'm just going to slice that. I'm not going to bother halving it. Okay, cut off my end. I'm going to go about there. Okay, there's all of our carrot all sliced up. I'm going to add my teaspoon of minced garlic, which should be about 2 cloves. There's the garlic. Now, next thing I want to do is I'm going to chop up this ham. Of course, the ham I want to leave in some pretty good sized chunks as well. There we go. Ham's all diced up. Now, being that the ham is already fully cooked, it can go in with the vegetables. Now I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne to that, and a 1/4 teaspoon of thyme, and lastly, a couple of bay leaves. So now our vegetation and the ham is all processed, the seasonings are all added in, everything's good. Okay guys, we're all set. Those peas have to simmer for 2.5–3 hours. The vegetation here is all cut up and ready to go, along with the ham. The seasonings are all mixed in. So yeah, once my timer's off, then I can see if the peas are ready for the rest of the vegetation to be added to the soup. That will cook for another 30 minutes once all that vegetation is in the pot, okay? So I got some waiting to do. Okay, so I did want to show you real quick. I did end up turning the temperature all the way to low in order for the peas to just simmer. So that's where I'm at. All right, guys. About every 20–30 minutes or so, I like to come back and stir the peas a little bit. Not much, okay? I don't want to turn this into mush. And kind of roll the bone around a little bit, make sure that it's getting fully submerged, and that's it. Now I have my pot here on like the lowest setting, so I can't even really say that this is a simmer. It's literally just hot water is all it really is, and that's all it really needs. Okay, these peas do not take much to actually cook through. When I'm coming to the end of my 2.5 hours, when I hit the 2-hour mark, I'm actually going to throw my vegetation in and cook that last half hour with the vegetation in, because these peas are already starting to break down. It's looking really good. So yeah, I think I'm going to do that, just to kind of tweak the recipe a little bit. I can do that. I'm allowed, right? All right, guys. So there's my timer, and I did end up doing the full 2.5 hours. And I also increased my heat just a little bit. So yeah, this is looking pretty good. The peas are starting to slightly break down now. All right, so now all my vegetation, the ham, the carrots, the onions, the celery, all the seasoning, dump it right on in. Just give it a little stir. And we're going to set that for another 30 minutes. There we go. Good to go. All right, guys, there we go. We are done. Well, should be done. Let's take a look at this. Oh yeah. Simmering off pretty good there. I'm not feeling anything really sticking to the bottom of the pot, so that's a good thing. My heat wasn't too high. And you can see from this angle here that the peas have pretty much broken down. There's not anything left of them. I've got a little taster spoon here. I just want to check the doneness of the carrots and onions. And of course the carrots are the things I'm most worried about, because they're the hardest. A little crunch actually still left on the onion, but I mean, it's fully cooked. It's just got a little bit of crunch to it. Carrots are fine. They're soft without being mushy. So we are done with the soup. All right, my heat's turned off. So now, what do you want to serve with it? So we can have that soup all by itself, and there's nothing wrong with that. All right, I've done it several times. But, you know, having a little something else to go with it, maybe like a grilled cheese sandwich. That sounds pretty good to me. Let's make a grilled cheese sandwich. I'll move that over to the back. That's going to stay hot for a long time, so I'm not going to worry about, you know, putting it on a low heat or anything. That will stay hot for a couple of hours. All right, got a nice big fry pan here. And I'm just trying to think of what I'm going to have on my grilled cheese sandwich. All right, let me go to the fridge and see what we got. All right, my cheese selection was actually pretty sparse in the fridge. So all I've got is standard, regular American cheese, which is fine because it melts really well. I've got my plain regular bread, nothing special about it. One of the things that you want to do for your white bread is, or whatever bread you're using, is to put butter on one side or some sort of fat on one side. And I can do that. I've got some room temperature butter right here. But I've also got this jar that sits on the back side of my oven. This is bacon fat. Whenever I cook off bacon, I pour it into here. I want to use bacon fat. I think that's going to really give a nice crispy crust sear to my sandwich. Let's do that. Okay, I'm going to turn my pan onto a medium heat and get that heating up. Then I can come back over here and just take that bacon grease, fat, whatever you want to call it, and we're gonna smear it all over, edge to edge, front, middle, bottom, everything. You're gonna get that wonderful smoky bacon flavor on your sandwich. This is gonna be really good. There, anything extra, just scrape off, put it right back in the can. That one was pretty good. All right, put that right back on the back of my stove. Now for my sandwich, I do 2 pieces of cheese, not just one, I use 2. I've used 3 in the past and it just gets too cheesy. And what I'm gonna do too is I'm going to cross them over so it makes a nice little pattern there. And I'm done with the cheese. I'm only gonna make the one sandwich. So I'll put this back in my fridge. All right, guys, I already got my grilled cheese on my pan. Of course, the grease or butter side is down. I put the cheese on. I put the other piece of bread, butter or grease side up. That way when I flip it, it's down on the pan. That way you get that nice crisp crust. So I'm just gonna let that sit there and cook. I've just got a silicone spatula to flip it when it's ready to go. And if you're wondering, do I really keep my bacon grease on my stove? Yes, it's right there. That stuff does not go bad, okay? It won't mold or anything like that. It won't go rancid. It just sits right there. Okay, as my grilled cheese is cooking there, I'm going to get into here. Give this a good stir. There, 2 ladles ought to do it. All right, it's been about 3 minutes. Oh, look at that, nice golden brown. Oh yeah. Now another way you can add flavor to your grilled cheese sandwich you know, without using bacon fat. If you put butter on there, just sprinkle it with a little garlic salt or Italian seasoning or something like that. Just a little bit on there goes a long way. Trust me on this one. And if I had sliced ham, I could have put that on there. But what I like to do with a sliced ham, I'll actually start the bottom piece of bread with the cheese on it and put the ham on the side and heat that separately. That way when the sandwich is ready to flip, I will quickly grab that ham that's hot, put it on top of the cheese, put the bread on top of that, and then I'll flip the sandwich over. All right, just a couple more seconds and my grilled cheese sandwich is done. All right, let's take a look at the bottom here and see how it goes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's like almost perfect. Cut the heat there. Oh, that looks good, guys. That looks really good. And the smell is just amazing. You get that little bit of porkiness from the ham, but then you got the onions and the carrots and the celery. That mirepoix is what it's called. Let's see. The ham just falls apart. God, I love the soup. And what's really cool about this soup too is the longer it sits and it cools down, the thicker it becomes. So it's pretty cool soup. Yeah, the vegetables are cooked perfectly. That is awesome. I love this soup. All right, here's my grilled cheese sandwich. Perfectly grilled on both sides. Let's see how much of a crust and crunch of the crust there is. Now, because I used 2 slices of cheese, it is cheesy in there. If you use 1 slice of cheese, it tends to just suck up into the bread. 3 slices of cheese, and it like drips everywhere. 2 is like almost perfect. You get a little bit of that bacon flavor from using the bacon grease. There's that light smoke flavor on there. Of course, then all the rub, and stuff that they put on them. That's really good. The bad thing about using the bacon grease though, it is very greasy, but extremely wonderful. This is Mark saying thanks again for watching. I will see you on the road. I hope you guys try this one with the cold weather coming in. This is a perfect cold season food. Simply amazing.